I joined the Bandless Battlers League, my first Uber's Pokemon Draft League. A draft league is where individuals called coaches draft teams of unique Pokemon, and using only those Pokemon, you battle each other weekly until one coach is crowned the champion. Ubers are typically seen as the most powerful Pokemon, and most are not usually allowed in draft. But the BBL allowed for Pokemon like Calyrex Ice and Groudon to be drafted, so I was excited to get into it. Of course, you couldn't just have all Ubers on your team. In fact, the Ubers are divided into 4 different tiers: Platinum, Gold, Silver, and Bronze. And players could only draft the Ubers in the following combinations. You can get 1 Platinum, or 1 Gold plus 1 Bronze, 1 Silver plus 1 Bronze, or 2 Silvers. So if you picked from the top 5 Ubers in Platinum, you wouldn't be able to get any other. Other rules from the draft included that you must have between 9 to 11 Pokemon, and you only have 135 points for budget. Of course, the better Pokemon are more expensive, and the cheaper ones are usually worse. Besides this being my first Uber's Pokemon Draft League, it's also my first Pokemon Draft League with Open Terra. So while I still have to draft a Pokemon to be a Terra captain, that Pokemon can use any Terra throughout the league. And right before I play my opponent, I reveal my Terra type to them. I had 2nd pick overall in this draft, and I could not have been more excited because I was able to pick up what I consider to be the 2nd best Pokemon in the Platinum tier in Mewtwo. Mewtwo not only gives me fantastic speed control, but an incredibly offensive move pool in Psystrike, Ice Beam, Aura Sphere, and Flamethrower. It has access to both Taunt and reliable recovery, and its Unnerve ability is incredible in draft because that means no Citrus Berries, no Resist Berries, and no Custat Berries. In this league, you have 26 Terra Captain points. The better Terra Captains like Tornadus Therian and Raging Bolt are very expensive, and considered by most to be S-Class. In a draft with Open Terra format, Zarude is also considered to be a top tier Terra Captain, which is why I picked it up next. Offensively, Knockoff, Power Whip, and Close Combat are very hard to switch into, and the combination of Swords Dance plus Encore makes for some fun games. It is U-turn for momentum, and being able to Terrasilize out of my 4 times weakness to Bug is amazing. Zarude also has a fantastic speed tier and just incredible bulk all around. After picking up Zarude, I wanted a strong Fairy type, and Enamorous Incarnate fit that bill. Its incredible speed tier, fantastic move pool with Moonblast, Earth Power, and Mystical Fire, and most importantly, its ability to use Healing Wish to recover both my Mewtwo and Zarude. In a metagame with a ton of incredible Dragon types allowed, having a fantastic Choice Scarf user that can knock them out in one hit seems great. Next for my team, I got what I consider to be one of the most important things in draft: a ground type so your opponent can't spam electric type attacks. Gliscor is currently considered even A-class in regular Ubers, even without Terra. And in this generation, it can set up not only Stealth Rock, but Spikes and Toxic Spikes as well, as giving me U-turn momentum into strong hitters like Zarude and Mewtwo. It also gives me a 2nd ground immunity next to Enamorous, and can even be a sweeper with Swords Dance. Like I mentioned, a ton of dragons are allowed in this format, so I wanted a Steel type to be able to take them on alongside Enamorous. I had also decided that I would only use new Pokemon that I've never drafted before. So while the option to pick up Metagross again was there, I decided to pick up Iron Crown. This gives me a Booster Energy Sweeper, a Volt Switch Steel type, a fantastic Assault Vest user, and an overall annoyance for my opponent with Tachyon Cutter plus Psychic Noise. It was now round 6 and I wanted to pick up a Water type. Originally I wanted Tentacruel to not only be a grounded poison type for my team, which would allow it to absorb Toxic Spikes, but also be a Rapid Spinner and have Flip Turn as well. Unfortunately, Tentacruel was sniped this round, so I picked up the Water Fairy type Primarina, which still has momentum with Flip Turn, but also its typing is fantastic versus the many dragons and even water types we'll see. Moonblast and Hydro Pumps are incredibly hard to switch into, and it can even be a sub-com Minesweeper. Round 7 might have been the most surprising pick out of any, as I was able to pick up Gouging Fire so late into the draft. Its Dragon and Fire offensive coverage is incredibly hard to switch into, and Earthquake rounds it out. I can use Dragon Dance plus Booster Energy, Loaded Dice Scale Shot, or even just Choice Band sets. It's so bulky that it's almost impossible to knock it out in one hit, and it has some fun moves like Burning Bulwark to burn the opponent. I can't stress how surprised I was that this Pokemon made it back to me. For my round 8 pick, I wanted a really cheap Pokemon because at this point I only had 12 points left. And for 2 points, I saw a really good Pokemon available, and that's why I picked up Smeargle. Smeargle gives me access to Rapid Spin, Mortal Spin, and Defog, as well as Spikes, Sticky Web, Stealth Rock, and Toxic Spikes. It can easily support Mewtwo or force my opponents to bring Heavy Duty Boots, making them weaker since they won't be holding choice items. And I won't promise anything, but maybe this season you'll see an offensive Smeargle pop off. Maybe. With Zarude being 21 points as a Terra Captain, I only had 5 points left to Terrasilize another Pokemon. And I'll be completely honest, my second Terra Captain is probably the Pokemon I'm most excited about on my team, which will probably disappoint you when you find out that it's Avalugg. Avalugg improves my matchup versus physical ice types, and provides me with rapid spin support. It also has some cool techs in Mirror Coat and Iron Defense Body Press, as well as Sturdy with heavy duty boots. When I say I'm more excited to use this Pokemon than Mewtwo, I absolutely mean it. At this point, I only had 5 points to finish off my draft, and I'm missing a very important type in Poison, because the last thing we want is our opponents to set up T-Spikes versus us and we just lose. With my final 5 points, I picked up Vileplume. Now, Vileplume's no Arboliva, but with Strength Slap plus Effect Spore, it can take on a ton of physical attackers like Urshifu, and can of course be annoying with Leech Seed plus Sleep Powder. So that's my team for this season of the BBL Pokemon Draft League. I'm so excited to try a new format on Wi-Fi, and if you are excited about Draft League as well, consider subscribing. Battles will be uploaded every Sunday. There are a ton of competitive coaches in this league, so I'll leave a link down below for you guys to check them all out. And of course, as always, we'll be doing the watch togethers every week to check out all the games. So make sure you come through to the streams. Let me know which Pokemon you're excited to see me use this season down below, and I'll see you guys next week for the first game.